In this presentation, we're going to be talking about basic plant physiology and how it applies to you as a landscaper. There's some fundamentals of plant physiology, starting with the primary physiological processes all plants have. There are three of them. The most common is photosynthesis, then respiration, and finally transpiration. And we'll look at each of those separately. In basic plant physiology, you have the basics of photosynthesis being the primary physiological process. It's where plants use light energy from the sun to combine two compounds, CO2 and H2O, or carbon dioxide and water. In this process of combining those, which is done primarily in the leaves, the plant creates chemical energy in the form of sugars. Now, you and I can take carbon dioxide and mix it with water. We end up with carbonated water, or you might call it club soda. In the same process, oxygen is produced as a result and released. So essentially, a plant is creating the food we eat and the air we breathe, or portions thereof, just in the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis only occurs in the presence of light, whether that's sunlight or artificial lights. What limits photosynthesis? Well, things like light intensity, whether shady or dark or cloudy or what have you, can impact photosynthesis. Availability of carbon dioxide, temperature, water, or toxicity deficiency of any one of those four variables. Respiration, on the other hand, is where carbohydrates that are made during photosynthesis are broken down into energy. Oxygen is used and carbon dioxide is released. Energy used during respiration to build new tissues or maintain some of those physiological processes. Respiration, unlike photosynthesis, occurs in day and night, light and dark, and often in multiple tissues of the plant. So let's compare photosynthesis with respiration. Photosynthesis produces food while respiration uses it. Photosynthesis stores energy. Respiration releases energy. Photosynthesis uses both water and carbon dioxide, where respiration produces both water and carbon dioxide. Photosynthesis releases oxygen in the atmosphere. Respiration uses oxygen. Photosynthesis occurs in the sunlight or in other artificial lights. Respiration can occur in dark and light. Finally, transpiration. Transpiration is an interesting physiological process in that it helps cool the plant. The plant's cooled when water vapor is lost through the stomata, through the leaves. The stomata are little openings in the leaves, and they kind of act as a vacuum, if you will, sucking water and nutrients out of the soil, and it aids in the uptake of those as it sort of sucks them up through the process of transpiration, creating this vacuum effect. And also, transpiration helps move sugars and other plant products throughout the vascular system of the plant. Transpiration is totally dependent on temperature and on humidity and on air movement. So if you got a difference in air movement, a lot of wind, you're going to have more transpiration. If you have a lot of rainfall, you'll have less transpiration. And if you have a lot of evaporation due to a lot of sunlight and warmth, you'll have more transpiration, and so forth. When you have increase in temperatures, each of these physiological processes has a different response. Photosynthesis increases between 65 and 85 degrees, then it declines. Respiration increases rapidly and can outpace photosynthesis, so it can continue that process and then ultimately may use more energy than the plant produces. Transpiration increases and can take out water faster than the plant can access it, so the plant may dry out or desiccate. Now that you understand some of these photosynthesis, respiration, transpiration processes, remember, be sure to take the short quiz and read any supplemental materials before you move on to the next presentation or video.